All right. All right. Well, welcome to the first ever live edition of John Locke and the Juju Profile, brought to you by the NEJM Group. Uh, Gotten started a little later than I had hoped in the happy hour. I was going to say I felt like the best man at a wedding. I just wanted to get through this speech and then hit the open bar. But been hitting the open bar for the last 2.5 hours, and now we're here. So
and I nursed my drink for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
In anticipation of
Neither of us are nervous, so that's good. That's a good thing. Well, we're here live at the Hotel Hugo at the AMM Happy Hour, and I'm here with my guest, Ivette McFarland. I feel like you've got a green bracelet. I got a green bracelet. Hugs and kisses. Hugs. All right.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. What are you drinking?
Tequila on the rocks.
Tequila on the rocks.
I did start, and here's our second
Oh,
one.
here we go.
Thank you.
Are you still working on that?
That's not ours. Welcome to live.
Yeah, welcome to live streaming, whatever you call this. So tequila on the rocks. You want to take a sip? Hey, cheers.
Cheers. My rocks melted.
Oh, wow, that's good stuff. That is good stuff. All right. So how you been?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great.
Good. I'm gonna need longer answers.
I'm alive. I've had a really, I've survived the pandemic. It was a rough year, like from like an overall perspective for people in general. But I feel like I got through it relatively unscathed. I can't complain. I feel like I'm really lucky. I got to spend time at home and really enjoy my home that was renovated a few years ago, and everyone who knows me knows the hell that I went through with that renovation. So I got to really spend time there and enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Nice.
So I'm happy.
That's awesome.
Everything's great.
Everything is great. I feel the same way. How was your summer? Anything crazy going on?
I got a pandemic puppy at the very end of the pandemic, at the end of May. It took me that entire time to figure out whether or not I could actually pull it off, and so we got her right at the late spring, and so she consumed my summer. It's a whole different world. So where my husband and we've never had kids, and so we were always very spontaneous and fly by night, go wherever we want, whenever we want, and suddenly we were like, what do we do about the dog? So we've been home a lot with her, and so we drink more at home, we do more things at home, but we also spent a lot more time at our lake house up in the Adirondacks because we can bring her with us, and she loves it up there. So it kind of made us go there. So it was a really good summer. It went really, really fast, as does everything else. The whole year went really fast. It was scary. But it was a good summer, and I also got to see a lot of my family this year and make up for lost time. I saw my mom a lot. My cousin from Colorado came up, and we celebrated my grandmother's 91st birthday. So it was a lot, honestly, and I think I wrote about this in the end. It made me appreciate family more, where before I was like, I'm not wasting vacation days on family visits, and now I really, really appreciate all of that. And so it makes you really kind of reevaluate all of those things. So I had a good summer. It was really nice.
That's awesome. Great. Now, talk about awesome things like summer. How awesome is this event? Have you had? We've been here for 2.5 hours or so.
Yeah.
Have you gotten a chance to talk to a ton of people?
I have. It feels like a wedding, right? Where it's like you want to kind of talk to everybody, but you're trying to work the room and talk to everybody else because we haven't seen all of these people in so long. But these are all these wonderful people that you miss, and you don't even realize how much you miss them until you see them. It's like things that you always took for granted. And we're here, and Mother Nature cooperated, and we had the most amazing weather for October. We were like, I don't know, it might be cold, we might have to take it indoors, we might need our masks on indoors, and we got really lucky. I think this has been such a successful event for our first one, like back live. We did not want to do another virtual thing. Like, I think everybody is zoomed out. I was like, who am on the committee, I was like, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So it's so much fun. And I love it. The venue is beautiful.
Actually, I'm gonna go rogue here and pick this up. Look at the view. Look at the view of what we have here.
It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't beat this. We've had a gorgeous night.
Yeah. I always say, like, be prepared for the worst and hope for the best, and that's what tonight was. We got the best. We were like, it can be terrible, but we'll see what happens, and we did it. It turned out really well.
I was actually hot for a while, like it was that nice.
Yeah.
Now my game plan of wearing a long sleeve shirt, pull up the sleeves while the sun's out. Now the sun's down, it's getting cool. I feel like I played this pretty well. So,
okay.
So I feel quasi smart. All right, so let's get into the John Loughran reviewed your profile shtick.
Oh boy. The stalker section.
The stalker section. I stalked your profile. So tell me, where did you go to college?
I went to Long Island University. They had a Southampton, New York campus when I went to school there.
Okay.
It no longer is, Southampton campus is no longer part of LIU. It's now Stony Brook. It's went bankrupt. But that's where I went to school. It was a really big marine biology school, but I went for communications. Yeah,
marine biology?
I was not a marine
biologist. Is anyone
biologist.
here a marine biologist?
Every marine bio major I knew was like the most stressed out student, and everyone got graded on a curve because the best grade you can get on the test was like 35. I was like, I would probably slit my wrist if I got 35 on paper or a test, but that's how they roll.
So you said you were a comm major?
Oh yeah. Advertising and public relations, and here I am in advertising.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe one of the only people, like all the friends I knew, who actually is doing something remotely close to the major that they had in school.
I was a comm major too.
Yeah.
I had very interesting, what they called a cognate, which was like classes that you're supposed to take that are related to your major. So I took a bunch of acting classes and theater and stuff.
I did theater management. I did the theater management class.
Nice.
Art history class.
Yeah,
I did a lot of drawing. I did a graphic design class.
All my friends that were
everything I was scared to do, I did because my guidance counselor was like, "You got to do it."
All my housemates were like accountants and business majors, and they're like, "Why are you drinking tonight when I'm doing homework?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I'm communications." Fun major. So anyone out there listening, take communications.
It still takes the skills.
It does. It does.
Let's not pretend like it takes the skills.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's funny. My friends say to me, like, you found the career that is suited for you.
Yeah, that's what I.
It's a lot of drinking and bullshitting. We can edit that. No, we're live. We can't edit that out.
Cat's out of the bag.
BS. Was it a party school that you went to?
It was a really small school, and we didn't have any fraternities or sororities, which I'm actually happy that we didn't. I don't think that I would have ever fit in with that kind of environment. It was a small school. I think under 2,000 who lived on campus. A lot of people lived off campus. There were parties for sure, but there were also, like, on the weekends, a lot of people went home. It was kind of like a suitcase school, they called it, which I had never heard that term. So, I don't know. There's always partying, for party.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like.
So, out of school, I was looking at your profile and I saw what looked like a pretty cool internship. Something about Hawaii.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So when I graduated college, I graduated, but I still, like, for my major at that school, you had to do an internship. It was like, I think it was only worth 3 credits, but you could not get your actual degree until you did that internship. So I graduated and I put it off. I I put off doing the internship for every semester. I put it off, and I was done with school, living in an apartment with my then college boyfriend. My family had moved to Florida while I was in school. And I was like, I have no home to go to after college because I wasn't going to Florida. And I was like, I still need these credits. And then he and I had an opportunity to live in Hawaii. And I said, well, fine, I need to do this internship. I can't not get a degree for 3 credits. So I looked for an internship in Hawaii with the school. I looked for something, and it's only like 12 weeks. So I was like, 12 weeks, I'm not probably going to get paid, but I need to do this. I found an internship for Hilton Resorts Hawaii. So I lived in Oahu, and in Honolulu was the Hilton Hawaiian Village. I got an internship in their marketing department, specifically with the PR team. So yeah, I was kind of like a PR coordinator, and I wrote, little pithy press releases. A lot of travel writers came to write about the restaurants and the hotel, and so like I accommodated them. Like I made sure they had their rooms and they had their reservations and things like that. But I also, as the intern, like they did a lot of like they were shooting a how-to for HR, a how-to video like with the ADD, American Disabilities, or the ADA, American Disabilities Act.
That's the thing.
That's the other thing that maybe I have.
That's the thing that I have.
Yeah. ADA, they were filming, doing a how-to video and a workbook on how to serve your guests at the hotel when they have disabilities. And so as an intern, they asked if I would help be part of the video. So I'm part of that. Like they're like, well, probably not anymore.
Do these videos exist somewhere?
They probably do, but it was a long time ago, longer than I care to admit. But at the time, it was training for new employees.
Okay.
Like there was a workbook, there were stills, there was video, like how to when someone comes in a wheelchair, how do you seat them at their table, how do you help them out, and all these things. So it was cool. I mean, I did all of those things. It was a really great experience. And honestly, it wasn't a paying job, but it was probably my favorite job I ever had. I had lunch middle of the day on Waikiki Beach.
How long were you in Hawaii?
I was there for 15 months. So I did my internship for I did 12 weeks, and then I just temped. There were no jobs. There were jobs in Hawaii are scarce, and if you're kind of like a transplant, they look at you like you're not stable. We're not giving you a permanent job. And so I worked with an employment agency, and I would get all these temp jobs throughout Honolulu, and then one company, which was a real estate development company, I met with them to be a receptionist, and they liked me so much, and they knew that I wasn't going to stay forever, and they're like, just stay until you want to move, but we really like you. And so I worked there for the rest of the time I was there. I met some of the most amazing people, had the most amazing fun, and I'm still friends with some of them, 20 plus years later.
It's amazing how fast 20 years go.
Yeah.
Coming up on, I think this upcoming May will be my 20-year reunion from college, which is insane. It doesn't make any sense. I just graduated.
I don't want to tell you.
I graduated yesterday. So, okay, so then you come back from Hawaii. How did you get started in the industry?
So when I was doing my internship, my director, we were chatting about what I was going to do next. We talked to, she gave me a review, and we talked about what we were going to do next. And she said to me, you go back to the mainland. My advice to you is you should really get a job at a large agency. It's going to be the best experience you can ever get. And honestly, that was the last thing I wanted to do. I was so intimidated by the idea of working at an ad agency because even back then, everyone was it's so cutthroat, and I was I don't think I'm paid for this. I don't think I can do it. But I came back, and I just met with a headhunter. And obviously, I was just I don't know, I just want something entry level. I want to be in advertising and ad agency. So, and I just want to be an admin. I'll start there and see where we go. And so he said, okay, I have some places. And he sent me to a pharmaceutical agency. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that was an industry. I had no idea. It's like, you don't know if you don't know. And he sent me to Lally, McFarland, and Pantella for an admin interview. And I had the interview, and I met with a couple of people, and the person I was interviewing with who needed the admin said, I think you'd be a better fit for the traffic manager, which nowadays is called project manager. But at the time, like traffic manager or something with traffic.
You're
Like,
over
I'm
here,
gonna stand on the street and direct traffic. Like, what does that have to do with advertising?
Right.
But they explained the role to me, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I met that supervisor, and so I mean that's how I got into it. I feel like I kind of went into it completely blind, and I was just like, oh, it's a job, okay, I'll try it. It was probably the worst job and the best job I ever had. It was like the hardest job I ever had. It was the toughest job I ever had, but it was the best job I ever had because I learned so much, and I learned the industry, and I understood like what everybody does in like the entire work stream of advertising. I got like what copy people did, what art directors did, everything. And it was really like it was such a good education. And at the time, obviously, I was like so stressed out. I worked late nights every single night. Like I would bring my bills to work to pay them because I got home so late every night that I have time to do things at home. So I just learned so much. And so I'm great. And I met my husband in the industry. So
Really?
There's the bonus.
You met your husband at work?
I did. We're a little scandalous.
That is so weird because I met my wife at work as well.
That's right. I know.
You know, I don't advise dating in the office place, but sometimes it works out. And
I've been married 22 years as of like last week, so it worked out.
That's awesome. I didn't know that you met your husband at work.
Yeah, that was another stressful time in my life because I was like, I don't want people to know. And like,
yeah, are we supposed to be doing this?
Yeah,
I
was very freaked out by it. He was like, who cares? And I was like, I care. I didn't like people knowing my business. It's very gossipy. He's like, I want everyone to know. I'm like, I don't want anyone to know. Like literally until he gave me my engagement ring, I was still like, I don't want people to know.
Nice.
So I tried that hard. It was like the worst kept secret ever, but I thought I was like fooling everyone.
Same way. I thought we were keeping it secret, and then when we finally came out to our boss, she was like, "No kidding."
Like,
yeah. So that's hysterical. So you, after this place you started, you've been to a couple different places, but you've been with SSCG now for how long?
It was just 7 years in September, which went so fast.
Wow.
I can't believe it.
I remember having lunch with you at different places.
Yeah.
7 years. It is insane how quick time flies by.
Yeah.
So you've been there 7 years. What is it about SSCG that you like so much?
You know, like you said, I've been to a lot of places. You know, every place has been a really, great experience, and everything is a learning experience. But the thing about SSCG is, I feel like everywhere I've worked, I've always felt like, I don't even know how to put it, but I feel like you're just always trying to like catch up and keep up and learn, and you can't get out from underneath because you're so busy, you're so understaffed. And don't get me wrong, we're so busy right now, and it's not a bad problem to have, but the thing at SSCG that I've always appreciated is that we've always had like the support system and like the resources that you need to do your job well, and then also just like the time to like learn how to do your job well. Like everywhere else I've worked, especially like I did start in like the olden days when it was really only print, and when digital came into play, like we were so busy that I didn't have the time to learn digital the way I would have liked to, and we didn't have the resources where somebody could teach it to you. So it was like, here are some Google classes, take them when you can. And I was like, when am I supposed to do that? I'm like working all hours. And so it was always like stressful in the back of my head. Like I need to take those classes. I need to take those classes, but I don't have time. And when am I going to do it? And I have to go home and have life.
Sure.
And so it was always like, it made me feel like I was failing or not doing what I was supposed to do. And so when I came to SSG, it was so refreshing that like we had all of those resources in place. We had all of those opportunities to learn and to do your job well. And it was like the first time I think in my career where I felt like I could do my job well and feel good about like the work that I was doing. And have the confidence to feel like I was doing a good job. Because I never, that's what was always missing. Like, I don't have the confidence, but I don't think I get it. You know? So that's why I like it.
Well, it sounds like a great place to work, and it says here on my piece of paper that you are #hiring.
Always.
Always.
Yes.
What are you guys looking for?
Oh my God, what are we not looking for? We're always looking for planners. We always need analytics. We need, you know, we have a biddable team, which is like, which are the folks who do like search and social. We're just so busy, and we can't hire fast enough. We have like just so many. I can't even keep up with all of the roles we have. It's fun, and I'm dumbfounded that it's so hard.
Yeah, no,
I can't believe how hard it is.
I know. It's tough.
Yeah.
But good problems to have. It must mean business is good, right?
I mean, when you think about like the past year, the pandemic, and people who lost their jobs and things like that. My husband and I mean, my husband's in the same industry, he works for another company, but you hear all these things in the news, people losing their jobs, people on food lines and things like that. And we're like, oh my God, we're so lucky. And like our company was great. We got like our company, like our senior leadership did like amazing things. They gave up half to salaries in the beginning just to make sure that they to limit the number of layoffs and all that stuff. And I'm like, who does that? It was pretty amazing, and I felt really lucky. And that's why I say, like, you know, it's been like 2020 was such a challenging year. I'll never complain. I know people had it worse. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for us.
Good luck filling all those positions.
Thanks.
And, so to shift gears a little bit, I know in my online stalking, not only did I look at your LinkedIn profile, but I see you do a ton of writing for our good friends at the Healthcare Marketers Institute.
Yeah.
And I saw that you did the personal exchange 10 years ago this month.
Oh, really?
It was literally, it was October of whatever 10 years ago was, so 2011. So I got questions about that.
Okay.
I was reading through it. What's your beef with Angelina Jolie?
What did I say about her?
I don't know. You said, it says here, do you still hate Angelina Jolie? I think she was the one person that you wouldn't want to be stuck in an elevator with or something like that.
Oh, I must have been Team Jennifer at the time. I don't remember.
Okay.
But
That's possible.
you know what? I don't.
She's smart. Nah, she
You know what?
does
I mean,
a lot
I
of good
think
things.
I won't take away the fact that she's a good actress, and I honestly do think that I must have been Team Jen.
Team Jen, yeah.
I was probably, I hate her.
It was very
But
fresh.
like,
off
I'm
Brad.
I'm pretty neutral. I don't really care one or the other.
Okay.
I don't know her, so it's hard to say like I hate something.
Well, another thing you wrote about was your love of stuffing. You still love stuffing? That's a thing. That was a thing you wrote about.
Yes, I think I gave my stuffing recipe, and I actually got all of these emails from people telling me that they tried my stuffing recipe, and it was a big hit on Thanksgiving. First of all, Thanksgiving is my most favorite holiday ever. I love it.
Can't argue with
I guess
that.
it's just, I love to eat. I love to gather with family and friends. And it's like my favorite holiday, and I love to actually cook the Thanksgiving dinner. Like, mostly because I'm a control freak, and I just like the food that I make more than I feel like I'm going to do it the way I like it, and anybody else is going to probably disappoint me. But I do love stuffing, and I don't think that Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving without it. And honestly, it is the only time of year that I'll eat it. It's not something that you like
you don't really have stuff.
randomly make it as a side.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
know.
had stuffing other than Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the one time of year you have it, and so I look forward to it.
It's awesome.
And I've got a really good recipe, so.
So I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to try it this Thanksgiving, which is coming up. And God,
I know.
what's it like a month from now? I mean, almost.
Oh,
Jeez, it's crazy.
I saw something today that said 11 more Mondays till Christmas. And I was like,
Wow.
let's get to Thanksgiving.
That's a crazy way to put things into
Yeah.
perspective. So, like I said, you write a lot of articles for the Exchange. Do you remember what your most recent article was about? I think it was about visiting your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, Nancy had asked me, like, she saw that I recently got to Florida early in the year, first travel since all of this madness, and I really missed my mom. My mom's a relatively recent widow. My stepdad passed away like almost, it'll be, actually it was just 3 years ago in September. And, you know, she's got a great friends where she lives and a network of friends and support, but you know, she's still alone. In the pandemic, I feel like she was feeling a lot more alone, and I was really, really concerned about her. And in the new year, I'm gonna admit I wasn't responsible. I didn't wait to be vaccinated. I was just like I had, you know, like we were allowed to roll over vacation days into the new year before the first quarter ended, and I had 5 days, and I'm like, I'm using them to go to Florida, and I'm not vaccinated. She was vaccinated, so I felt good about that. And I went down there at the, I think it was at the end of March, and it was just like so easy. It was an amazing time. It was so much fun, and I think what I wrote about in the Exchange, and this is the truth, like in the past, because my family moved to Florida when I was still in college. It's like I've never been a fan of Florida. I don't really like it very much. And so whenever I had to go there, I was very like stingy with my vacation days.
I was reading it, yeah. And it said like you were very like reluctant.
Just like, geez, it's like I want to go elsewhere. But this time around, when I decided to plan my trip, initially I was like, oh, it'll be a long weekend, and I was like, I know, and that's never been enough for my mom. Like a long weekend, that's not enough. We just got here, and I just decided, I was like, you know what, I don't care. I'm just gonna make it like a good long trip, and I went for like 10 days. Wow. And just between like carryover days I had and weekends and then a few extra days, it turned out to be 10 days, and it was just such good quality time. We had the most fun. She was so happy, and she was like satisfied with the trip. You know, usually she's like, "You're leaving already. It's not enough." I mean, this time around, she was like, it was like enough for her too, and that felt good. Like I didn't feel like I left, and she was like wanting more. It was like really nice. So it was just like, and then I came home. And Mother's Day was like, I don't know, a few weeks later, and I was just like, I'm going back to Mother's Day. I'm like, of course, I'm telling my husband all this. I'm like, I'm going back to Mother's Day. He's like, you're leaving again? Because I don't bring him with me. You know, it's like, this is me and my mom time. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great. I mean, obviously, you write well for the number of articles that you've written. I guess Nancy Leonard thinks you do a good job.
I stress over it all the time. It feels like writing a paper, which I was never, you know, procrastinator for the rest of my life. I'm always like the Dave Bone shooter.
Hey, live TV here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So let's shift gears a little bit from the healthcare marketing exchange to the amount of stuff that you do with the AMM. What are some of the things that you do? I know you're co-chair of the fall events.
So, yeah, the way it started, it was like maybe 8 years ago. The AMM was looking for volunteers, right, for various different committees, like work on, and I was like, oh, I'd like to do something. And I actually wanted to be part of like the Nexus committee. It's your first and second choice or whatever. So it's like Nexus social committee is what it was at the time. So I was told I got the social committee, and right, I didn't really know what that, what that entailed. But Monique got the social committee too, and that's how I met Monique.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was like the most awesome thing ever because I love her to death, and we become like amazing friends. But it started with that, and initially it was just like trying to figure out like social events for the AMM. It wasn't about bullying for breast cancer or anything like that. It was just like, I think the AMM had been struggling for a while. Like, how do we, get folks together, and how do we do this, and how do we do networking and all of that stuff. And Monique and I just turned out to be like this really great dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Like Monique, that's Monique's voice. I think at the time we started with like a holiday happy hour because the AMM used to have like these big holiday parties, but they were a challenge and everything felt forced, and we wanted to like make it more just casual, like going to a bar and having a drink and like something like that. So that's how it started. And so we like introduced the holiday happy hour, and that became a thing. I think we've been doing it for like 8 years now. We pick different bars, and it's a lot of fun, and people show up. It's never like a huge event, but we don't need it to be a huge event. We want people who are there to be the people who want to be there, not like have this big venue and it looks like there's nobody there.
Right.
And the Bowling for Breast Cancer, I think, kind of fell into our laps. We weren't supposed to plan that, but I don't know, 1 year it was something that was, I think it was like last minute, like the folks who managed it previously were like, oh, we need Bowling for Breast Cancer, do you guys want to do it? We're like, okay, and it was just like, and it was like a really, it was a little stressful, but let's do it. And I think that Bowling for Breast Cancer was always in July or something like that.
Really?
I think it was like May, and they're like, yeah, we got to get this event up and running in July. And we were like, no, that's not happening. And we're like, October is breast cancer month. Let's do it in October. And so that's how we got involved, and then it kind of started to, it just became our thing. And we always had so much fun. And Michelle, Von Dijk, and Todd, like were like the changing of the guard, and they made it so much better. A much easier, smoother process, and great partners. I walked away from doing Bowling for Breast Cancer a few years ago because I had done it so many years in a row that I was like, all right, it just feels like a second job. But this year, I goes, if I miss it, I'll do it again. And, we're still in uncertain times, so we were like, let's not do bowling because we're still not sure if we can do such a big event, but let's do an in-person event. And here we are.
Yeah. This turned out
I
great.
think this was a great success. I'm really excited.
Except for this interview, which has been shoddy as hell. I'm kidding. I'm praying, by the way, that anybody can hear a word we're saying. You think the audio is pretty good? Awesome. We got confirmation that the audio is good, and we've got light now, so this is good. As it gets darker here in New York, as the sun goes down, we're just chatting. It is beautiful.
It's amazing to be out here and to see the lights, the skyline.
Yeah,
I don't know about, I've not really been around this in such a long time. I feel like I kind of holed up in my house in Connecticut, and I've gotten really comfortable being holed up in my house in Connecticut.
Yeah, no.
So coming out, I feel like Country Mouse is coming into the city.
I know. It's crazy. So, it's October 14th. Halloween's coming up. Any plans for Halloween?
I've never been a Halloween person. I don't really care for it. I don't care. I did hope this year. I was feeling a little excited. Like I got my puppy. Like I've got this new appreciation for everything. I'm like, I'm going to decorate my house for Halloween. I was going to do it last weekend, and then I didn't get around to it. I don't even know how to do it. How do you decorate your house for Halloween?
Like cobwebs.
It doesn't excite me. I think we're actually, that's a lot of work. When I lived in in Riverdale, in a building, I loved having candy for the kids because it was like the kids in the building came to your house and trick or treated, and you could put a sign on your door to say I have candy, and when you're out of candy, you could take the sign off the door.
It's kind of like our bracelet system.
Exactly, like don't touch me.
Yeah.
Touch me.
We're both green. We're huggers.
I took mine off because
She's a hugger and a high fiver.
But in Connecticut, you're in a house in a neighborhood, and you don't know who's coming to your house. I have like the stranger danger fear. I'm just like, who's coming to my house? Who's knocking on the door? It's like a typical New York City girl attitude of strangers. And I don't have little kids coming to my house. I have scary teenagers who are wearing scary masks and have like a grocery bag. Give me, and I'm like, I don't like it. So before the pandemic, every Halloween, Jim and I, my husband, made it a point, like on Halloween night, we're not going home. We're gonna go have a drink after work, have some drinks, and like we're like, I think it's safe to go home now. The kids are not coming to our house. And now it's like, oh shit, they're coming, but
it's okay.
But nobody really comes anyway. This year, I think we're gonna actually be up at the lake house for Halloween. I think it's on a Sunday, so
I think so.
we're gonna be away. And I'm glad. Plus, I think now with the new dog, the puppy, if anyone brings, she's just gonna bark all the time to make us crazy. So, yeah, Halloween's not my thing. I don't think that's a popular answer. I think a lot of people love it.
Do you get dressed up? Or,
I don't. I used to.
Yeah.
I've like participated in like the New York City Halloween parade when I was, in my early 20s, and I dressed as a hobo and as a witch and all those things. But I think I dressed as Beyonce once from Austin Powers, Foxy.
Foxy, yeah.
And I won. My husband was Austin Powers, and he brought along with him the soundtrack so that when it was our turn, he played it and he danced around the whole room. So we won.
Awesome.
That was cool, but for the most part,
I'm just going as a sexy sales rep.
got
That
it.
should be an easy costume to pull off, right?
So,
yeah.
Not too bad.
So this is going great. I think I don't even know how long we've been doing this. It's been going for a while. Really? Wow. So let's wrap it up. Anything else that you would want people to know?
I don't know. What would I want people to know? That's a really open-ended.
It's an open-ended. Yeah, that's probably the worst question I ask during these things.
It is.
What's next for Ivette McFarland?
I don't know. I mean,
Continued success.
Just continue enjoying life and appreciating it, and getting used to living with a 6-month-old German Shepherd, and just always waiting for the next new thing and living life. That's all you can do. Live life and have fun. All about having fun.
That's all you can do. YOLO. That's what I say.
YOLO.
That's what I say. All right. Well, I think that wraps things up here with the lovely Ivette McFarland. And until next time, thank you very much.
Ciao.
Peace.